what you see here over in the corner is, over here in the corner is Marvel app. That's their logo, and I already jumped through all the hoops and I logged in and I have just 0 projects. So I'm going to create a project. Okay, and I'm going to create a prototype. So what's it going to be for? My project name is going to be Club Attendance Checker. What's it for? I could make it for a phone, Apple Watch, an Android device, an iPhone, they vary, or a website or TV. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to be building a website. So let's create this project. And it says try an example prototype, or let's add some designs. We are going to do neither of these, actually. We're just going to go up here and it says upload or create designs. Here we go. Design in Marvel. This is what we want. Okay, so I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to look at my previous designs here, the ones I have already made. So this is the sketch of the main screen showing the start and stop buttons, names of the students, and the QR code. So this is just a web screen here, and I want to draw this out more nicely as a proper wireframe. All right, so this is Marvelette, and it has a lot of different tools available. We can do some basic shapes, a rectangle, some kind of circle thing, text, a line. We can use their stock icons, which they apparently have trouble loading. But actually the thing that interests me is right here, wireframing elements, and this is really what makes the whole thing worthwhile. Team library is if you have a team, there's resources in there, and you can see different items here. Web. So title this. If I just want to make a basic outline of a website, I can do this here. There's a table, a date picker, a graph. Oh, so we wanted a list, right? If we come here, we have this list of names. So I'm going to start with this. Well, I have the buttons here, okay? And the list of names. So I see here there is an ordered list. I'm going to add it here. And sure enough, there is an ordered list now. So I could take it here and I can expand it, make it a little larger. Okay, good, good, good. That's a bit bigger. I want a title at the top. So I'm going to just type in title. I'm going to add it here. Okay, I'm going to close this. And now I have a title, and it's going to be, let's see here. We'll call it present. Right? And because when we're taking attendance, we're going to have a list of names, and above it, it's if you are successful in putting in your name, you will see that you are present. I would like to, so I'm going to be playing around with this now, but I think it's important for you to just watch me play with it. So I'm just going to comment as I go. We have all these elements here. So you can see here, one thing that you can see here is that this behaves like a single element, but if I click in a place on it, I can get the individualized elements. That's because all these elements are grouped together. If I want to ungroup them, it says ungroup, and now they're all broken into individual pieces. Then I can click group and it regroups them. Ungroup. Ungrouping is good because now I could potentially change their size to something a little larger. So let's say I want to make them, the text a bit bigger. Let's say I want to make them 25 and click over, and now all of them turn 25. Isn't that neat? Let's say I want to keep them, I want to group them and put in actual names. So one thing important right, is to actually put in real names. So don't just put random text in or squiggly lines, right? When you're doing this in a sketch like this, that's okay. But when in wireframe, there's kind of a rule among designers that you should put actual data in actual text. It could be gibberish, it could be lorem ipsum, but you should have something. So take the time and put that in. So I'll put Phil Foster, and I'll put famous people names. Yeah, Bobby James, I don't know who that is, but Phil Foster's, I've heard of that. Arnold S. I'll put that guy in here. Don't know how to put in other people's names here. So hold on, I will pause it for here. Okay, and so I populated with a bunch of names, some real, some sort of. I'm actually going to remove these two at the end because I feel like I don't need all 10 names there. And I'm going to group these together. In fact, I'm going to group everything together, including the title. Click group, and there we are. And so now I move it, and it's one solid piece, right? So this is an idea of who is present, right? This is it. It's functioning. And there's people who are present here. Okay. We also had an idea that we wanted the date and the club name. So maybe I'll go ahead, return here to this title 1. So we can put Astro Club meeting. Okay, and we'll put title another one here, and we'll put February 30th. Haha, there's no February 30th, 2022, because there was no such day. Right. Looking here again, a QR code. Maybe, I don't know. Well, do they have a QR? They don't have QR. They say they have icons, QR. Oh, okay. This is fine. I could just use one of these icons. Just put it in here. It's kind of small, but I think I could just make it bigger. Yeah, and that will serve my purpose just fine. Okay, next here, these two buttons, the start button and the stop button. So let me go back to the wireframing elements, and we say button, a small button or a large button. Well, I'll just put this button in here. Okay, and we'll call it the start button. Okay, and let's make this one. Can I change it somehow? Can I change its color? Can I change anything about it? Doesn't look like it. That's a little bizarre, but okay, you know, it is what it is. And we will do a, whoops, what is this? Oh, we can do one like that, and it's gonna be, I think I can change it here as well. It's going to be a stop button. Okay. And now I'm going to move this button here. And this one's here. Okay. And that's the basic part of the first screen. That's kind of a populated version of the screen, but hold on here. Let me move over. And I'm going to look back at my success criteria. Turn on easily with minimum configuration. So I had the on button, it turns on. Automatically create it, okay. Create a QR code, display names in real time. Okay, so that's one screen. I realize though, this is a version of the screen that's already up and running, right? So actually, you know, it's already been started. So maybe there shouldn't be a start button. There should just be a stop button, right? Maybe there could just be one button and the button changes from saying start and stop. That kind of makes sense. let's go ahead and modify it like this. And what I'm going to do in a moment is, well, you'll see in just a second what I do. So I'm going to close this down here. And when I close it, you could see the first one says image 1, and I'm going to call, you can rename it, and I'm going to say taking attendance. Okay, so this is, we're already taking attendance. I would like to make a copy of that. So I'm going to click copy. Here's a taking attendance copy, and I'm going to call this one before starting, or start screen. And I'm going to modify this one. Okay, so what am I going to modify here? First of all, this, I think I would like it to actually, I kind of like having that button being the different color button. So I'm going to replace this one with start. I'm just going to get rid of this one, put it here in the same, well, actually I'm going to put it in the same place. And I guess it might be visible. I'm going to, so you can always change. So I said group ungroup. You can always send it forward and backwards. So backwards means that it's not visible. So now if I grab it, you can see the stop. Like I sent that one backwards. So I'm just gonna delete this one. We are going to say nothing. There's no date yet. There is no QR code yet. I'd like to replace it with just a blank area here. So I get a basic shape, and I'm just going to cover it over like this, and I'm going to make it, just actually going to make it gray. Okay, that's going to be my thing. And now here, I'm going to say this to say nothing yet. So I'm going to ungroup this, and I'm going to delete these like that. Okay, and that's just going to show, this is going to be the blank screen before anything else happens. And I'm going to group that back, close. Okay, and that's hasn't started yet. Okay, so now that I have two screens, I can actually make a prototype. Okay, so the way you do it is you click here on, here you have, you might say, what's going on here? You can see there the icon says click and drag a hotspot. So this is, I'm going to drag over this. I'm in prototyping mode, and this is now a hotspot. And the question is, where do I want to connect it to? I want to connect it to the taking attendance. Okay, and I'll click, now I'm done. I'm done with that, and we can click play, and let's see, this is how it works now. Okay, it's generating this thing, and this is the basic view, right, of my software. And if I click on some random place, you could see this is, it says, this is like a hotspot, and I can click on it now. So the idea is, this is what it looks like before it's the start screen, right? And if the person clicks start, it populates the date, and then people can start scanning the code and their names pop up like that, right? And so now the next step would be to click stop, I guess, and I don't know, what do we want it to say when we click stop, right? And it says test this prototype, this is a thing, but you get an idea. This is how a prototype like this works. All right, I think if I want to get rid of it, I click here. Yes, there we go. I have to close that window because it opens up a separate window. Okay, so that, I'm going to change the order of this here. Let's take a look at what else I need to do. So here's the student government report. How are we going to address that? Well, there should probably be some button where I make the report. So maybe after I take attendance, it will generate the report, or I need to make this in some way. We have these two reports. Okay. But I feel like now that I've done this part, I should also decide on my prototype, what I should do after I prototype it here, if that makes sense. So after we take attendance, what do we want it to do? What happens when we click stop? So I have to think through this. Do I want it to go back to the main menu? Right? That could be a thing, right? Is there, maybe I'm better off including kind of some side menu here. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the way to go. So I am going to actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. So when we click stop, it's going to just, yeah, I'm just going to click here, prototype. And when we click stop, I just want it to go back to the start screen as if nothing happened. But then I want here on the start screen, I want to edit it to show two buttons and maybe some kind of menu. Let's see here. Maybe I can come up with a menu. Menu and button. Oh, okay. That looks... What does that look like? Oh, look at that. That's neat. Okay. So maybe a little too fancy, but let's go ahead, and I think we could do something with this. We could say, we could have it, yeah, we could just do a menu like this at the top. This is neat. I didn't really plan it this way, but that's great. I can look at the menu for this. I'll call it attendance. Just say attendance, and I'll say what do I call this report here? I'm going to call it the student government report. Yeah, we'll call it meeting report. And this will be engagement report. Oh my. Okay, well, what do we do here? Well, I think you guessed it. We need to ungroup this and move these things around here. Whoops. So I'm going to make it a little longer. I'm going to have, there's one button. It's going to be, I'll make it more spaced out like this. We don't need a logo. And we also don't need a contact us button, as cool as that would be. And then this is just some background here. So attendance, great. All right, so if we go to attendance, it just leads us, oh, I don't think I wanted to regroup it, didn't I? Let me just, hold on a moment. Okay, let's highlight it all. Let's group it back together. And now, okay, so this is what the attendance looks like. If I click on this, it should take me to the meeting report, right? So I like this menu, and what I'm going to do is this is actually going to be I'm going to click to add to library, and I'll call it top menu. Okay, and this allows me to then, for example, go back to the other one and ideally I should be able to add it in. Top menu. There it is. And I can just move it up here. And just as it is in the other ones, it's available for us there, right? I don't know if I actually want it here because when you're taking attendance, you shouldn't be able to change meeting and report. But maybe let's say I just wanted to show you that. All right. Okay, I'm closing. Now let's create a new. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to create these two, the student government report and the member engagement reports. Okay, I'm going to start by adding this from the library. Now I want to ungroup these for a moment and take this one, and now let's say we're doing the meeting report. So while this meeting report, I want the shading to travel somewhere else. I'm going to group that together again, and now we probably want a title. Right. Looking back here, and the title is going to be Student Government Report or Meeting Attendance Report. We're going to have a date and the number of people. So I'm going to call this the meeting reports. Let's put that at the top there. And we're going to add another title in here. We're going to add title 2. Date is going to be, I don't know, we'll just say January. So it passed, so that one's from current. So we'll just say January 3rd. That's a random date. That is a real date though, and we're going to put in a list. Yes, we want an ordered list, meaning there's numbers. Okay, and we might choose to do this differently, like number them a little more this way or that way. So let me just ungroup these. I think I want them to go this way, so there's going to be like 5 per meeting, right? And again, I'll fill in the names, but I'll do that in a moment. And then I probably want some kind of divider. Oh, they don't have dividers. Line. Okay, well, I'll just maybe make an actual line. Okay, now if you want it, I think if you hold down Shift, so this is, I'm just doing it, but if I want it perfectly straight, I can hold down Shift and it will become perfectly straight. And so this is one meeting. Okay, right, and there's that divider. And then maybe just right here is a space, I'll put in some statistics. That would be neat. Checkbox. I could put in just some, I don't know, is there any kind of interesting pattern I can use here? Text field, pop over. No, these are all really interesting, but not necessarily what we need here. I guess I just want some text, some body text. Sure, I'll do that. And I'll say total attendance 10 people. Okay. And I can say, let's say there's 20 members in the club, right? Well, let's say that the greatest meeting up to that point has had, 20, I don't know. Let's just keep it simple, right? Total attendance, 10 people. I don't know if there's a separate place to put in how many members total. Let's just not make it too complicated. Okay. And that's that. I do want to change their names though. I'm going to pause for a second while I do that. Okay. So I've completed that. For some reason, these lines are appearing here, but that's good enough for me. 10 people. And I will actually group this together again. Great. And I am going to go ahead, grab this whole thing. And I think Control D. Nope, that will just do something we don't want. Control C and paste. And I made a copy of it. Oops. Okay. And I want to take that copy. No, let's undo that. Okay, I'm going to copy it. Now I'm going to paste it. And you have to grab it at the right place, somewhere where there actually is something, I think. Yeah, and duplicate it like that. And I'm going to change the date here to a week later, so let's say the 10th. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to change it a little where maybe a couple fewer people are attending, just to distinguish the data a bit. Right, and here it's now 8 people. Okay, and right, and that's fine. That's fine there. Okay, and I guess I'll group these together. Okay, and there you go. There's the meeting report. And so the thing that's left over now is the engagement report. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, oh, and this is... I guess I'll just, guess I could just make a copy of this, right? And this will be a engagement report. And I can edit this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this, and then I'm going to come back so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so here we are. Here is the end result. In order to make this table, I just used their built-in table here. Okay, and then I changed a lot because it gives you a table with text, and I changed the dimensions. I changed the size. I changed the width of the rows. I did all sorts of things to it. I put in these icons, but it gives you a very good idea of what this table should look like, what the end result is. So I was very satisfied with this. After completing the table, I then realized we are missing one more wireframe, which is the wireframe of the form that gets filled out by the students, right? They scan the QR code, it takes them to a form. What does that form look like? Here it is. It's pretty simple. And in making, I realized the problem that if a student types in their name differently, it might appear as a different student, right? If your name's James, but you go by John sometimes, or you type in Johnny, or it's uppercase or lowercase. So for that, I thought, well, there's two solutions. One, you could ask for the email address, because the email address is always going to be the same exactly. Or I settled on this, where your first time you attend the meeting, you type in your name normally, but then the second time you appear in the drop-down menu, and you just select yourself from this drop-down menu, and then you click submit, right? And then after they've submitted it, they get something like this, pretty simple as well. Confirms the date, thank you message, and confirms that they've been registered. Their attendance has been registered. And at that point, their attendance should be visible on the main screen, right? I think we can go ahead and play. I wonder if that works. Okay, very nice. Here it is. We play. We can see all the hotspots. If we click start, the screen is accessible. If they scan this, that happens, right? Oops. Right, if we're scanning it, in order to stop, you stop it. Once you've stopped it, you can look at meeting reports and engagement reports. And there it is. It's a pretty simple little system, but that's exactly what the client wanted, or let's hope that is exactly what the client wanted, because the next phase, okay, before I say that, the final step here would be to share this with the supervisor by putting the link in. So there's a share link here. You can put in, click copy, right? Just like that. And then take that and you can just paste that in there. If I get that from you and I open it up and it's a full prototype, then that's done. That requirement is completed. Any other sketches you might have, you do by hand. Again, you could include I have these here, but you can include any more that you make in here, alternatively in these meeting notes. So that completes, I believe, that completes part 2 of this process. We are done with the design, the prototype, or our initial design. The next step will be validation and launch. So client, this is getting feedback from the client and scope validation, but I'll go more into that in the next video.